Hi, welcome to Wonder.wander Homeschool. And I just wanted to take a look at my fourth graders language arts for this fall for the 2025-2026 school year. So I have it in. I have not gotten to fully look through every single aspect of it quite yet, but this is my initial kind of take on her book. I've done a lot of research and watched a lot of reviews on trying to figure out a new language arts curriculum for her to try. The main reason is she started with The Good and the Beautiful, and she's done so great with that. But as she kind of has progressed quickly through that, she's about at fifth grade level, and it was going to be getting into some stories that just didn't seem like she was going to be that interested in, and I don't want to kill her love for reading. I want to make language arts more interactive when it comes to trying to get her more into spelling things out, copy work, recitation, more on a classical side, I guess, a little more of a classical bent. And I think I found something that's like enough where she'd be more independent as well, because I will be teaching 3 children this fall. So this is going to be brand new for me. So I want to make sure I don't put too much on my plate, but at the same time, I want to make sure she's getting a full education from it. So these are the books. Let's get started. So we've already kind of talked about this over the summer. I was originally just going to do this for summer, and then I was going to do this for the fall. I may do this. I'm heavily leaning on doing this like half the week, and then keeping doing this because it shouldn't be taking very long. From what I've looked at, the lessons are not very long. So we have writing rhetoric, and that is book 2, narrative 1. And this one I did go over a little bit, but basically it talks about the different types of story that there are, parables and fairy tales, myths, narratives, history, and fables. So you go through those. A lot of it is you're learning about all kinds of stories, and you're learning about the parables, and then you have a part where you write, a part where you copy work, a part where you talk about it, where they recite it back to you after you read it to them. And you're supposed to do this in I think over about 3 to 4 days each week you do it. So I might just do like a week on, week off between the 2 curriculums so I can get the full week in. But then also she's not always doing so much writing, because this has a lot more writing because of all the copy work. And they actually have you at the end of the week usually retell the story in your own words. And that is something that is going to take some time for her to get better at, because she likes to do she loves workbooks because she likes to get the quick answers and kind of check off the list. But I kind of want her to get more of a love for writing and better, stronger skills at writing. So they also so this is learning language arts through literature. There are a lot of reviews online you can flip through on YouTube. And so this one I have heard a lot about from people that I've followed on Instagram, and as I've just been looking for something that's somewhat similar to The Good and the Beautiful, but just gives a little bit more focus on spelling. So we have a message to the student, and so it's about, they want to really try to get them into a love of good books, good quality books, and also learning their grammar skills in fun and creative ways. And they also, it's great that they did the reminder. Remember, any skill seems difficult at first, but as you complete each day's work, you will get better and better. So just keep going. And then for the teacher's note, it says, look, you have lesson 1, which is like the first week. So each week is a lesson. And you complete, on day 1, your student completes A through E. Listen to the literature, poem, America, and dictionary use. You choose spelling words, spelling tip, they have like a different spelling tip that they kind of focus on each of those sections, discussion, descriptions, and making a list. So I really like the idea of using the classic literature, having them learn things. This one's very America-based. It is meant for fifth grade. So even though she's going into 4th grade, I just looked at the 4th grade level, and it just seemed a little bit closer to what she did in Her Good and the Beautiful, which is not a problem at all, because, I mean, she was in 4th grade language arts, even though she was a 3rd grader. So the wonder of homeschool, where you can change that, which is great. It's great that you can kind of go at the learner's pace. And it's just a matter of, I just want to make sure that she feels challenged, but she doesn't get overwhelmed with content, especially because I have to keep in mind maturity level, especially as you go into like 5th grade. A lot of the content starts to bring in a little bit more of a, some more formats of just like, I think this one even has Number of the Stars, which talks about the Holocaust. So, yeah, so they have this. They tell you that you do need to have the teacher's edition along with, so this one is the student activity book, and that's the teacher edition. This is the purple book. They're all different colors based on the grade levels. And they kind of tell you a little bit overview of what the contents are. So you talk about America, Poem America. You're doing a book study on Farmer Boy, where you read a book in a week. I've heard from many reviewers that they tend to break that up, or they do another outside curriculum book study on that book, just because for any of the books, because they said that either it's too quick or the kids just don't read it fast enough. If your child can, if you're confident they can read it through a week and still get a lot out of it, then of course that's like meant to do that for the book. So I will have to see if my daughter can read through it in a week. If it needs to take longer, then I'll just break it up. I also do have some book studies from other supplements that I might insert as I get going and looking more into that, if what they have here doesn't seem to be covering enough. So then you have the everyday words, which everyday words are like your normal, like that example where it has like a dictionary use, it has their spelling tip they're focusing on, it has, discussion, descriptions, making a list, and like a writing activity pretty much. And so that's basically like your normal days. It's like, okay, so the theme is on the book Popper's Penguin. Then you have little assessments if you'd like to give them. They have oral presentations, which I think is really important for my daughter. She did not have to do oral presentations at all in her and the Beautiful books. She did do writing, which was great, and she learned a lot about creative writing and storytelling, but dictation was just not a huge part of that. It was very minor. And so I kind of want to work on those skills. So that's kind of my focus for this fall and spring, is to have her be more focused on her dictation, narrating skills, which both of these will work really well together, as long as I'm able to plan it out and not overwhelm myself or her. So then we have Trimble the Swan, and these are just all great books that remind me of when I was in 4th grade, or I guess 5th grade. I read a lot of those books. I did not read Strawberry Girl or Amos Fortune, but I will see how that goes. And so it just has a little section. It's not very flashy. I know Good and Beautiful has beautiful paintings and pictures, and the writing's all wonderful, but I just needed something that has a little bit more focus on like opening up a dictionary. That's something that she's never had to do, maybe one lesson in her Good and the Beautiful studies. And so I wanted to get more into that whole like language of writing and language of grammar and literature. So she knows a lot of these things from the Good and the Beautiful. So some of them will be a lot easier. Some of them are going to be like newer, mainly because sometimes they're used almost, they may not have like been very bold, like this is a singular possessive, my mind. Like they might say possessive and they might say it a few times, but then she just got used to doing the worksheets in the Good and the Beautiful, and she didn't remember that that's what the name was. So having them have the labels of them is going to be really helpful for her to know what kind of part of grammar she's learning. And then she's going to be reads texts. They have a lot of it in here. The only ones that you need to have the books for are the book studies, which I think there was only, I believe there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, only 4 of them. And that's just, so it's like you have everyday words and it breaks it up with a book study. And I believe you do pause for that week and just do the book study. So we'll see how that works. So at the end of they have vocabulary, which is really helpful. My daughter is going to be challenged by that. So that might be good from this book study. We're going to focus on that. It has discussion questions and complete the sentence using the right vocabulary word. Seems pretty simple. I mean, I think the worksheets seem you could definitely do this in a week. And so maybe it just depends on if it is challenging enough. That might be a big reason why other people don't use it. But we'll find out as we try our first one. And the main thing, I think, is the time of reading of if she can. And then they have these little assessments. It just reminds you before you do any kind of assessment, if you're going to, they want you to remind them that I can complete my work, I can be creative, I can be accurate, I can do my work with good attitude, and I can work neatly. So focusing on kind of the more fine-tuning of language arts and writing and like attention to detail, which is something that, especially with how much, well, not that I try to limit TV, but with how much TV kind of tends to distract kids, helps them get that instant gratification, that it is really helpful to have a curriculum that kind of focuses on, remember, like take your time and slow down. And that's another reason why I homeschool, is I want them to slow down in their learning. I want to slow down the years that I can of really enjoying that time with them, teaching them, and then just seeing them grow. It's a beautiful thing when you see them get things and meet challenges. It's hard when you have the hard days, but it is so rewarding when you get to see them thrive. And I know that I can go at her pace, whether she's speeding ahead or like her younger sister who's just right on track pretty much. Or if like, I don't know how their brother's going to be with school. And so it's going to be just taking our time and just lots of snuggles and making sure that you grow a love for learning in him. So then you got tall tale, which are always fun. The oral presentation would say, does your mother, father, or teacher read aloud to you? So it just talks about that. It's like a discussion. Read the material. And then kind of questions to think about, because sometimes when you just get things like, oh, write this or read this, they'll be like, well, what do I do? So it kind of gives some questions to kind of think about for them. And use a different voice for each character. So they're kind of doing like almost like a play acting for if they're going to tell a story. And then practice reading your material. Then stand in a mirror, and it gives all sorts of tips. So they're supposed to be practicing this. And we'll just see. And then they have a checklist of, do I read slowly? Do I read clearly? Do I read loud enough? Am I using my voice well to communicate the meaning and feeling? Am I standing up straight but naturally? So posture. And also like the audience. So just the social eye contact in the audience. And this is something I think everyone can really benefit from, even adults. I mean, I probably could have really benefited from this more in college. Communications class was not my favorite because you had to learn all this stuff. And it's not really something, we did a lot of presentations, but we weren't told all the details of what we were expected to do. So you had kids that would look at their paper the whole time. It'd be like a note card. So the whole goal of this is to encourage them to be a better public speaker. So just little baby steps about something that they're familiar with because they've read it and they read the tall tales and thought about it. So that seems like it could be really fun. It might be a challenge for the first one, but maybe as she gets comfortable. And I don't know if it's only going to take 3 days. That might take a little longer. So I think for this one, it might be one of those curriculums that you kind of do your best to stay on, but you're going to need to take your time depending on, and adjust that depending on your child, whether they're catching on to it, because it is a little different. It's like broken up. She got really used to having like a lesson and then a writing prompt and then a lesson and a spelling prompt and spelling page. So I will be doing her spelling book as well. And that'll be kind of in her morning time. So it's just broken up a little bit. And I'll go over that at a different time. But it is nice to they kind of break it up. So even though it's black and white and kind of looks boring from a glance, I do like that they have a focus on some spelling practice. They have a focus on poetry. They have a whole poetry unit, I believe, in this one. Unless that was one before. But yeah, I'm really excited to try it out. So I will let you guys know how it works at the end of the school year. So it's going to be a while, but maybe I'll do a check-in if things are going like maybe halfway, especially if I change my mind and I end up like not doing this or not doing this, because that does happen too. But so far, I'm really excited to try it. I've heard really good things about this curriculum, learning language arts through literature, and also writing with rhetoric. So I'm really excited. So that is it for 4th grade language arts, and I will do the next video when I can. Have a great day.